Good morning and welcome to my favorite day of the week. Clearly, being able to do this show with the people we get to do it with is great, but it's like an added bonus today. We have a very, very special guest. It is Friday the 13th, and for those of us, we believe it's a lucky day, not a bad day. So, but it was not lucky. Shay, I'll give you your moment in the sun. It was not lucky for 5 of the top baseball teams.
Yeah, baseball's a funny game. You never know when you'll see history. There could be history made every night, which the Phillies made. And Mr. Nick Castellanos, a South Florida guy, made history, hitting 2 home runs back-to-back games.
And you know what the best part of that was? Turning around and looking at his son.
Son, when he comes in, he's sitting right by the dugout when he comes, and they point to each other. But a little bit of layoff kind of hurt some of the teams. I mean, the Dodgers, I don't think really matter because they're just terrible when they get in the playoffs anyway, even though they have the best record. But baseball's a funny game, and it's fun, especially playoff baseball. So
funny. So lots of good stuff happening in the world. None better than our guest today. So I am not going to waste any more time with chit chats. I want to play wake up music. I want to, do the walk up music, and then LLP joins us.
Let's go.
Wake up, everybody. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Wake up, come on. Wake up, everybody. Teach a new way. Maybe then they'll listen what you have to say. Wake up, everybody. No more sleeping in bed. No more about to thinking, time of thinking ahead. Come on.
We can live in a world that we design. 'Cause every night I lie in bed, the brightest colors fill my head. A million dreams are keeping me awake. I think of what the world could be, a vision of the one I see. A million dreams is all it's gonna take. Oh, a million dreams for the world we're gonna make.
With that, we welcome somebody who really needs no introduction, but how many people do you know that can just go by their initials? Lisa Lutoff-Perlo, or as we call her, LLP. Welcome to Huddler in the Hot Seat.
Thank you, Steve Nudelberg. It is so nice to be here this morning. What a great introduction. And man, I love Pink. Oh, she's just extraordinary.
So, it's so funny about Pink. I just got invited to the show that she has here at the Amarant Bank Arena coming up in November. She's here. Somebody's invited us, actually the Cagnettas, and I really had no choice. Helen said, we are going to see Pink. And that is not a show that I would normally buy.
Oh my God.
And look at you. You're talking about how great she is.
Oh my God. I can't say enough great things about Pink. Anyway.
And
I'm jealous.
For those who don't know who you are, and for those people who are living under a rock, please give us the synopsis of who LLP is.
I'm just a girl from a small town. Just a small town girl. Who happens to live in South Florida and has had an amazing career and is blessed, grateful, fortunate, happy. So I am, and I'm someone who tries to make a difference every day. And that's, I try to keep it short because we only have 20 minutes, but it's been a long life, long journey, wonderful, ups and downs like so many of us, but it's been great.
So I would add another adjective that I think is very significant that we'll dig into, and that is humble. You've spent your career was at Celebrity Cruises, and you were there 39 years.
So I've been with the Royal Caribbean Group
Okay.
for almost 39 years. It will be 39 years as soon as the calendar turns, and that's happening ever so quickly. I started in 1985 as a district sales manager up in Massachusetts for Royal Caribbean. I've been back and forth between the brands a couple of times, and yeah, it will be 39 years. Crazy.
So when you said you've had a great career, that's where your humility just is so incredible. Your last position there was CEO.
Of Celebrity, yes.
Can you give us a glimpse at did you ever dream when you started at Royal, did you ever dream you'd be CEO of $1 billion brand? Give us some insight into what that journey was like, and then ultimately what it was like. And then I want you, if you can, to share some of the accolades because they are mind-boggling what you did there.
Well, to answer the first question, unequivocally, no. I was a district sales manager in Massachusetts. I was never leaving Massachusetts. I was happy there. My family was there. As I told you, it was the 80s. And in the late 80s, a position became available where I had to move to South Florida. Who wanted to move to South Florida in the late 80s? It was Miami Vice. I mean, it was crazy down here. And I'm like a small town girl from Massachusetts. And, but the universe had something else in mind for me. So I ended up taking that position. I ended up moving down here to South Florida. That was a regional sales manager position. I expected my entire career to be in sales. I'm a sales guy, like someone else I know that I'm talking to. That's, that's
awesome.
Right. That's in my blood. And I expected to end my career as the head of sales. I never dreamed I would end up being the first woman to be president and CEO of one of our brands. I never dreamed I would be able to transform the brand and create a multi-billion-dollar enterprise out of a brand that was looking to find its way. And I never thought I would be able to do all the great things I was able to do as president and CEO. So my career was a surprise. I worked very hard. I deserved everything I got, but I never thought my journey would take me there.
So I love that. You had this amazing career. You have lots of takeaways. I want the rest of the show to be about you. And I know you are generally not one that seeks the spotlight and limelight. But we do have a very, very significant, big announcement to make today about another contribution that you are making to the universe. Please take this exciting moment and share it.
All right. So as I was traversing my career and as I ended up as president and CEO of Celebrity, I got a disproportionate amount of attention because I was a woman and I was the first in our company. Not many of us in the industry. I can count them on maybe one finger or two fingers. And it was just a wild ride for me. And I got a crazy amount of attention. And I, again, was able to do a lot of great things because I had the voice and the platform to do that. And as I was speaking to so many people, not just women, but a lot of women, to be honest, about just what I had done, how I got there, what my journey was like, what I experienced along the way, what obstacles I had to overcome. And then, of course, what I found to be some of the most important things I was able to do in that role. Everybody said, you need to write a book. You need to write a book. And just like my career as president and CEO, I never thought that I would ever be an author of a book, but guess what? Right now, so I have a book coming out, and it's this is the first time anyone's hearing about it, first time anyone's seeing it. I'm really excited about it. I still find it very surreal that it's happening, but it is. The book, we are going to announce it on Thursday, 6 days, T-6. And it's going on pre-sale, and it will be out. It will hit the streets in February 20th, 2024. And Making Waves is the perfect title because that's sort of what I've done my whole life and throughout my career. And sometimes people like that, sometimes people don't, but it's who I am.
So let me put things into perspective. 1% of the population actually converts their thoughts to written books. So you did that. And in all candor, first of all, I've read the book and it's sensational. Not because you're a woman, not because you were a leader. There's just some massive nuggets in there about life, which I think life and business obviously, coincide. But, the fact that you took all of these, learnings, could you dig in a little bit to what, okay, everybody says write a book, not everybody does it. So what pushed you sort of, in that direction? Because it's not easy to do. It's definitely not easy. So what pushed you that way?
Well, a lot of people that I'm very close to pushed me, to be honest. And because to your point, it's not easy for me to talk about myself. And so I wrote the book with a lot of humility and vulnerability because that's what my career has been. And I learned a lot along my way. I was curious and I was a learner, and I never approached anything like I knew it all. And as people were seeking my advice, my thoughts, and I was having conversations, so many people told me that I changed their lives. I changed their career trajectory, which gave me so much joy. I changed how they looked at their own career and how they navigated their own journey, which gave me a tremendous amount of joy. The fact that I had any influence on people, I still find overwhelming, but I do, and it's wonderful. And so I thought I would put that into a book. And again, it's about my lessons, and I owe so much of what I've been able to do to the people that I've worked with along the way. You were talking about baseball, and I use sports all the time as analogies. And I think about
We're not going to talk about the New England Patriots.
No, we're not. But I think about the GOAT, my guy, all the time, and I think about how he navigated his own career, and just how he says, "I threw the ball, I never caught the ball," and you have to count on so many different people. And you attribute so much of your success to others. Yeah, I was the coach, but unless the players on the field win the game, it doesn't matter how good of a coach you are.
Well said. So I want to focus for a few minutes on what you've done for women in business. I just got done reading a McKinsey report, which I will send you. We have not made major strides with women in business. The CEO count is down, people of color down, women of color. You broke a lot of those barriers. They called it a glass ceiling. This report calls it a rung. It's the ladder, that the piece of the ladder is missing. But you not only did it for yourself, you did it for other women within the organization and outside of the organization. And I want you to speak to that if you can.
So one of the chapters in my book is called Paying It Forward, because—
By the way, sorry to interrupt, but you will use that phrase from now on.
One of the
conversation. There's a chapter in my book.
Actually, I could have said that to all of your questions, but I'll use it for this one. There's a chapter in my book called Paying It Forward. And you see this beautiful purple guitar behind me. It is a gift I will treasure always. It is, I did something on March 8th of 2020 on International Women's Day, March 8th, and it was 2020. And at Celebrity, we had a cruise that was history making and barrier breaking. And it was a culmination of all of the efforts, not only of myself, but the great men that I work with, to significantly increase the number of women in our organization, in our operation, and in particular on our bridge. And so we had a cruise on Celebrity Edge under the command of Captain Kate McHugh, and 100% of the bridge was manned by women. And every leader on the ship, in every operational area of the ship, was a woman. And it was, as I describe it in the book, it was on Celebrity Edge. It was a mic drop moment for me. My career could have ended at that point, because I was on Celebrity Edge, which transformed the brand in the industry. I was standing in the middle of the Grand Plaza with at least 1,500 guests surrounding, cheering, having the most amazing time, thinking, wow. And then I was surrounded by all these women that were on the ship in positions of control and power, which was so wonderful. And Melania, the associate hotel director, was playing that electric guitar, standing on the martini bar. Captain Kate was pouring martinis, and all the women were there celebrating. And they were so amazingly proud of that moment, as was I. They all signed that guitar as a gift to me, to thank me, because they were so proud of what they were able to be a part of, which has never been done since. And they offloaded that guitar at the end of that cruise, which ended on March 15th, 2020. And we shut down that day.
Wow.
So I never got that gift until I walked back into my office 15 months later, and there it was. And it hangs proudly here in my home office, and it's something I will never forget. And it takes intention, it takes discipline, it takes focus, and it takes a village. And so I have really worked hard to bring others along with me. People say, hey, how does it feel to have made it to president and CEO of Celebrity? Well, it feels great. I mean, what am I going to say? Of course it feels great. But seriously, if you don't bring others along with you, does it matter? If you don't pay it forward, if you don't lift others up with you, well, what does it all mean? Nothing.
I love working with you. I believe iron sharpens iron, and the time we've spent together over the last couple of months has been magical. But this whole idea that, and I say this a lot about leaders, and I coach a lot of CEOs, the number one thing I see they either have or they don't is self-awareness. And you have this incredible ability to just be in the room and not to be the CEO. I've said that as long as I know you. It was you're the most non-CEO I've ever met, because you're just not about the title. You're not about that. And I said it in the beginning, I'll continue to say it. There's so much humility in what you bring to, when I introduced you to Helen and we walked away, I go, yeah, she's the CEO of Celebrity. She goes, no way, impossible. You're like my next door neighbor. So having said all that, this transition happens. Why? I mean, you could have kept going as CEO. You decided to say, I'm going to, excuse the pun, I'm going to bridge my career to do something else. And oh, look, Lori is fantastic. She brings it up. Yeah. How did you know it was time to move on? Lori, thank you.
Okay. So, when you told me, Steve, you have another book in you, I think that's the other book.
Yeah.
How do you know it's time to move on? And chapter 10 is called The Next Chapter. And I decided to move on after I finished chapter 10. And I had to change chapter 10. I had to change the ending of chapter 10. And I think, I saw a posting on Facebook as I scrolled through the other day, and it was saying that the average age of retirement is 67 and the average life expectancy is 78. And, you work so hard and you do so much to enjoy 11 years. And so, no one knows what your life expectancy is. It's for the universe or the higher power to
Right.
decide. But I'll be 67 when I step away from this role. Next April is when end of April, I'll be stepping away from the company. I decided to step down from the role after a lot of deliberation. And, again, the book is a very honest, it's not a memoir. It really is a leadership book. But within the leadership lessons I learned, I tell a lot of stories. And one of those is, what happened during COVID and being shut down and all of the things that went through so many of our minds, including losing my sister at such a young age. And I remember thinking at the time, what are you doing? Why are you hanging in there? And but I would never leave until we were back, 100% back, full steam ahead, pardon the terrible pun.
But it
And
works.
we were, it was spring of 2023 and we were back and bookings were fabulous. The industry was back. The team was great. And oh, by the way, we were sort of getting ready to figure out what's the next stage of celebrity. And I wouldn't be there anyway for that. So I thought, you know what? It can be the mic drop now. I've left an amazing legacy. I have done more than anyone could ever have thought of doing. And now it's time to write a new chapter. And that's when I decided to step down. And the great thing about doing that is I had this year, this transitional year as executive, as vice chairman. And it gave me a soft landing so that I didn't have to go from 110 miles an hour to 0. And it's given me time to think about, what I want to do next. And I just have a lot of great things going on. And I'm excited about what the next chapter is going to be.
I love it. I love it. So this next chapter, yes, you have a book, but the book is really sort of the first piece of a puzzle. And if you're open to sharing what our vision, what your vision is in terms of what's going to happen next. And I'll tee you up with this. Almost every CEO I deal with is asking themselves, what's next?
Yeah.
How do I get there?
Yeah.
So share what your vision is for the LLP, point 2.
Well, again, I do everything with a lot of help from my friends, including you and the amazing Mr. Shea.
Right.
And I really need people to tell me sometimes what's next for me because, that whole humility thing, which is, I always find your strengths can also be your weaknesses. That's a fact. And so sometimes my humility holds me back because of what I think I can do because of what I've done. I
That's
think
incredibly well said. That could be the nugget of the century. Wow. Just so good.
there used to be a head of our PR, our corporate communications team, and he told me I was the queen of sound bites. And so anyway, so I'll be doing keynotes, definitely in conjunction with writing the book and promoting the book, but also for other reasons as well. I want to do executive coaching, which I'm hoping that the things that I have learned and the things I have done as a leader, I so believe in discretionary effort because people come to work every day. They show up, they need a paycheck, they need to feed their families, they need to do what they have to do. But I believe that the right leader will get discretionary effort and be so much more successful if you genuinely care about the people that work for you. They will genuinely care about you, and that's priceless.
Yeah, your grasp of the language. Say that again. Discretionary
effort is
that's
priceless.
A winner. That's ownable. I've never heard that.
Yeah.
But that's the difference between winning teams and average teams.
Yeah.
It's discretionary effort. How do we get 1% better?
Yeah.
And that's fascinating. So for the sake of our audience, I mean, we could talk all day. The sake of the audience, if they want to contact you, they can contact you through social media, correct?
They can, and through my beautiful new website, LisaLutoff-Perlo.com.
Fantastic. So last thing we'll talk about is 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks from yesterday, you will be live and in person at the 3rd annual Women's Power Summit.
Yeah. you're almost sold out. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's really an amazing evening. It blows my mind that it started as an idea, and I think you will get this. It started as just an idea, like we want to be part of this dialogue. We want to help women, and we're inviting men. And so now it's the third annual. We sell it out. All the money goes to charity. But the most exciting thing is it's a panel discussion, but you and I will be on stage. Just you and I will pick a leadership topic. We will dig deep into it. So if you have not bought a ticket yet, please come take pictures with LLP. She's already famous to a lot of people, but just wait and see what happens over the next couple of months. It will be amazing to hear her speak. You'll be able to pre-order the book, and book is available for individuals and companies. And so I highly recommend, as people did with my book, they use it as a curriculum. They actually bring it into the company and all discuss it. And this book is just loaded with stuff. So come out, meet her, join her. You will see her everywhere. Follow her on social media. LLP are the best. There's just no way around it. It's such a treat. I'm so honored. You make me feel better about what I do. So thank you for joining us this morning. Look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. And any parting words? Bon voyage.
Well, my parting words are thank you for everything, for all of your wisdom, all of your advice, all of your help in everything that is LLP moving forward. It's been so incredible, and I appreciate it more than you know. I also appreciate being on your podcast more than you know, and I am excited about seeing everyone, all the incredible women that you have lined up, and all of the women that will be in the audience in a couple weeks. And and I also pray for peace in the world, man. We really need it. You know, million dreams. Pink is right. You know, the world. We need to make the world a better place, and we all need to focus on that as well.
What a great way to end. Thank you. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Monday with Lori Salarillo. She'll be back in the seat. Mark is in New York. He'll be there for the next couple of days. He's a traveling man. That's what you get for working hard and all the results. So everybody, let's get down to business.
Cheers. Ciao, everyone. Thank you.
Please don't worry about me. I'm about to let my heart speak. Friends keep telling me to leave this. So let's get down to business.